Welcome back to Zero to Hero. Today's topic is one of the subtopics under team building, synergy. Synergy is a huge part of what makes double battles so exciting and fun. But what is it exactly? The definition of synergy is when multiple components combine to have an effect greater than they would produce on their own. In Pokemon, it's the way multiple Pokemon moves, abilities, or any aspect interact to become stronger or more effective than they would on their own. If you want to be a stronger, more effective player, make sure to hit the subscribe button for more VGC content. Sometimes this is mechanical. Take water moves in the rain, for example. They get a 50% power boost. The mechanic of how the move functions has changed. But many aspects of synergy take the form of being more effective but not mechanically stronger. Take the pairing of a physical attacker and a defiant user. The physical attacker is weak to intimidate, but a defiant Pokemon will get an attack boost from being intimidated. The mechanics of how physical attacks and defiant work do not change by using them together, but by using a physical attacker, you entice your opponent to intimidate it, but having a defiant Pokemon prevents your opponent from wanting to use intimidate. This changes the way they will play, giving you an advantage. Team synergy is incredibly important in double battles, since there's two Pokemon on your side of the field that can directly interact with each other on the same turn. Understanding synergy will benefit your team building and gameplay. I've split synergy into 4 aspects: offensive synergy, defensive synergy, move synergy, and anti-synergy. All of these categories are not mutually exclusive, so Pokemon can have offensive and defensive synergy at the same time, while other pairings may only have move synergy or any combination. Synergy also exists on a range, so one team can have good synergy and another team can have great synergy. It's not simply a has synergy or doesn't have synergy. When synergy is generally thought of, many people think of what I've classified as move synergy, so we'll go over that first. Move synergy is when moves become more effective when used in conjunction with another move, ability, or Pokemon. Take the move Earthquake. It hits all adjacent Pokemon, which means both opponents and your ally. On its own, Earthquake is somewhat effective, but deals damage to your partner. So you would either need to take damage when using it, or spend a turn protecting with your other Pokemon. If you have a partner Pokemon that is flying, or has the Levitate ability, the drawback of this move is negated, since your ally no longer takes damage and can still attack. Take the move Discharge. It also hits all adjacent Pokemon just like Earthquake, so if you pair the user with a ground type, you achieve the same effect as pairing a flying type with an Earthquake user. Take 2 Pokemon like Garchomp and Zapdos. They're able to synergize with each other to allow you to use Earthquake and Discharge without damaging either ally. A great example of synergy. Move synergy is not limited to spread moves like this, or only moves at all. Some more examples are as follows. Fake Out and Trick Room. If your goal is to set Trick Room, pairing the setter with a Fake Out user allows it to more easily set Trick Room by disabling one opponent for the setup turn. Follow Me plus a setup move is a common example of synergy as it allows the partner to set up relatively safely. Fake Tears is a move that lowers an opponent's special defense by 2 stages. When a fast Pokemon can get this off, it can have a strong special attacking partner to move after. They will do significantly increased damage due to the special defense drop. A move like Beat Up can be used on ally Pokemon like Archaludon, Annihilate, or a Justified user. This will trigger the ally's stat boost, or Rage Fist, 4 times, making them incredibly powerful right on turn 1. Expanding Force is a move that gets a power boost and becomes a spread move when Psychic Terrain is up. Move synergy is so diverse and is a very rewarding part of team building when you can pull off something cool. Offensive synergy is when Pokemon deal more damage when paired together, can cover a wider array of targets, or can knock out threats that the other is weak to. The most basic type of offensive synergy also includes speed control, examples like Tailwind or Trick Room, because it contributes to moving first and taking KOs. Consider the pairing of Basculegion and Pelipper. Basculegion's Wave Crash has increased damage thanks to the rain that Pelipper provides, and it gets doubled speeds from Swift Swim. Pokemon like Fluttermane deal much more damage when boosted by Chiyu's Beads of Ruin. Another form of offensive synergy is when Pokemon have complementary offensive coverage. Basculegion may have high damage output with water moves, but will struggle to hit grass types. Pelipper can hit them with a strong super effective Hurricane. Fluttermane may not be able to hit steel types effectively with its fairy moves, but Chiyu can hit them super effectively with fire moves. Fluttermane and Chiyu is a great example of being able to KO targets that the partner is weak to. As mentioned, Chiyu can take out steel types, but also ghost types that threaten Fluttermane with its fire and dark type attacks. Additionally, Fluttermane can take out fighting types that threaten Chi-Yu. These are not perfect examples, as the Rain pair is not able to hit water types super effectively, and the special attacking duo will struggle to hit fire types super effectively, but both pairs can hit these types for at least neutral damage. An example of poor offensive synergy would be running something like Salamence and Alolan Ninetales. Salamence's flying and dragon moves are both resisted by steel, as are Alolan Ninetales' fairy and ice moves. Even with both Pokemon stab attacks, they'll be unable to hit steel types even neutrally. Having only physical or only special attackers is also poor offensive synergy, as you could get completely walled by a single Pokemon with high defense or high special defense. Another part of offensive synergy is being able to hit Pokemon for their weaker defensive stat, so not having both of these basic forms of attack is a detriment. Defensive synergy is when Pokemon are able to resist types that their teammates are weak to. This is typically accomplished with synergistic type cores like Fire, Water, Grass, or Fairy, Dragon, Steel. For example, Typhlosion takes big damage from water, ground, and rock moves, but a Rillaboom would be able to switch in and take resisted damage from ground and water attacks. Another example is Pelipper and Archaludon. Archaludon is weak to only fighting and ground moves, and Pelipper is immune to ground moves and resists fighting moves. This pair works in reverse as well, with Pelipper being weak to electric and rock attacks, where Archaludon resists both of those. Some generally bulky Pokemon like Porygon 2 only have one weakness, and they can switch into many types of attacks neutrally, whereas some Pokemon like Iron Bundle are incredibly frail on at least one front, in this case special defense, and can potentially be KO'd by a strong resisted hit still. Specific forms of damage mitigation can also fall under defensive synergy. For example, if you have a Pokemon with low defense, you can pair it with an Intimidate user to lower the opponent's attack. This will make them do less physical damage, allowing your physically frail Pokemon to potentially survive a hit. Complementary typing and strong defensive stats make good defensive synergy. Also remember to keep in mind type immunities. Being able to switch into an attack for 0 damage is a lot less than half from a resisted hit. Keep in mind that switching in and taking resisted damage forever eventually will wear you out, so you still need offensive pressure to win games. Some other examples of synergy that don't fit into the above categories are things like grassy terrain and bulky Pokemon that really benefit from the extra recovery, or comboing misty terrain with Pokemon that really don't want to be statist. This is similar to comboing our physical attacker and defiant Pokemon earlier, as a synergy that makes things more effective but not mechanically stronger. Last is anti-synergy. This is when things end up being worse than they would be on their own. Already touched on, but having conflicting weather conditions on a team could be a detriment. Things like grassy terrain and earthquake are much less effective due to earthquake having its damage halved in grassy terrain. Running psychic terrain while having a lot of priority attacks on your team is not great, since the terrain will block your own moves. Having small amounts of anti-synergy on a team can usually be dealt with or played around, but having lots of anti-synergy is just making things harder on yourself, so try to avoid it when possible. Keep your mind open when thinking about synergies. The possibilities really are endless. Some aspects of a team you might not have thought about before can be used in different ways to create synergy. A truly great team has a lot of different synergies within itself, and as you play with your team and make teams, you'll get more experience at seeing how different Pokemon interact with each other and how you can use that to your advantage. Thanks for watching.